right. All right. Party people, the place to be. Vandals and all y'all, the party at the castle. If you party at the castle, I don't really want to know you, to tell you the truth. But like, all right. Party people, the place to be. Vandals and all y'all. But yeah, we are introducing a new creator to the show, and I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself this wonderful evening. But yeah, we are introducing a new creator to the show, and I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself. Wonderful evening. Do you have the YouTube open, Scott? Because I got an echo.
Oh, do I? I probably do. Sorry.
That's all right. There we go.
Here we go. Yeah. Cool beans.
I'm an old man. I don't know how technology works.
Yes.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm Scott Gerard Ruhl. I draw and write a comic called FutureLux. It's a one-man anthology series. It's about, right now, the main story is called Dreamsicle, and it's about two girls who are best friends as kids, and then they grow up to be best enemies. And as they change, the world changes, and it starts off as more of a landscape format influenced by comic strips and storybooks, things like Winnie the Pooh and Calvin and Hobbes. And then as they grow up, the comic takes place in the future, becomes more of a traditional formatted comic in a portrait format, set in the future where they poke each other in the chops and try to murder each other.
Yeah. This book, dude, is a lot of fun. It tackles absurdity in a way I don't usually see in American comics. Like I've seen like a lot of Japanese stuff and some stuff out of Europe that kind of gets this kind of esoteric and I'm not sure how to say, like how it kind of has many different ways that you can interpret it while reading it. And we're going to probably get into our readings of the book in a little bit, but like I really appreciate like the way that it's done, because I've seen a lot of other people try to do like an absurdist figure story, and like their metaphors are like way too on the nose, and like you just get them right away and stuff. But like yours, like it took me about till issue 2 to really be like, okay, I think I know what's going on a little bit here in the background. And man, it in my opinion, it gets pretty disturbing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a darkness in this book, which is nicely obfuscated by the like you said, the lush visuals. You know what I mean? Just the
Yeah, that was the idea. Like, because I knew I was going to do some pretty hairy stuff in it. So, but I wanted to have a mass appeal. I want it to be kind of a pretty comic. You know, in my head, my ideal audience, it's about two girls growing up. I figure it's for like young women. There's not enough comics out there for them that are actually, in my opinion, interesting, or just really has some teeth in them. Something too that's kind of lurid. The way that I would feel when I would read comics when I was younger, more adult stuff, where even though I don't know, they say you might be too young for it, but if you're smart, you could handle it, and it feels like you're getting away with something when you're reading it, and it's expanding your mind and getting you excited about just, I don't know, the possibility of the world out there and creativity and everything like that. So yeah, I'm really these days I read almost outside of indie comics and self-published stuff. I read a lot of European comics. That's just my favorite stuff. It's so beautiful and well done.
aside from like what we said, the Archie's influence, it kind of has a look of a French creator I really like named David B. Are you familiar with him?
Oh, I am not.
Jack? Okay, like he's got like several books that have been translated to English. So like, yeah, he's not hard to find his work. So yeah, David B. Like he's kind of got that's kind of like how you got the wobbly arms and stuff every now and then. Yeah, he kind of does that too. And
that's there's a Fleischer Brothers influence on me. The noodle arms and things like that.
Nice. But yeah, like I was saying, like the only book that I know that kind of tackles the subject matter that I read in this book and like does it with an absurd style like that and got away with doing it like respectfully with the subject matter that I see in this book would be like Sam Keith's The Max.
That's a massive influence. If I want to draw real parallels to it, I'll even say like the rabbits and things like that exist in The Max. The blurring of a fantasy world and what's real and what isn't, imaginary the idea that these characters might be just interacting with imaginary characters. Yeah, that comes from the Max. It also comes from Calvin and Hobbes, or Winnie the Pooh. I always, in my the high concept way I describe it, it would be like, oh, it's Winnie the Pooh if Christopher Robin was Enid from Ghost World, and there was more murder in it, I guess.
Well, lots of mutilation, at least, man. I don't think anybody's like straight up died yet, but like there's been lots of dismemberment.
Yeah. Or well, some characters are already dead, and you might not know it. Like Bianco the bear, in the first issue. After Sven chops off his arms, he goes to heaven, and Bianco's already up there, and he sends him down to try to save the girls. But they just kind of make things worse because they're a couple of knuckleheads.
Okay, I kind of saw a Bianco as kind of like the imaginary version of Sven, because like the way that he's kind of presented, he does the same stuff as Sven, but like I always thought that it was kind of like Divinity's impression of him. You know what I mean? After the trauma that she goes through with Sven, like she kind of just sees it as Bianco the bear. That was the way I kind of viewed the character.
Yeah, no, that's a valid interpretation for sure. Like there another one is that is like is Bianco even there? Like it's like talking bears and shit. Like how much of this is really happening? I leave a lot of room up for interpretation with those things. There's a point where you could say too, like I never want to pull the rug out and say, oh, it's all a dream, because I know the main story is called Dreamsicle. I don't want to do that, but I think there is a valid interpretation of like, oh, at a certain point, did they all just die, and is this like one big fever dream, or where does the story begin and end? It starts in a weird place. Like I was, I was pretty young when I created the characters. I was in high school. So I was slowly writing the first chapter for a really long period of time. And at that time, I was into Tarantino and things like that. So I really liked how Reservoir Dogs and even Pulp Fiction, they kind of start with the inciting incident. So that's where the first issue starts. And I know it's confusing as hell. Like, and that was the hard sell when I just had that first issue out, because people are like, what's it about? And I'm like, and they see the cover and they're like, this looks great. And they open it up and they're like, this naked zombie guy walking around, and like, what's going on here? And I'm like, no, like stick with it. Like the second issue will help explain a lot. And then by the third issue, I think you start seeing even more context about like, no, I'm going to make good on the imagery you're seeing. Like it's all going to happen. A lot of the pinups, covers, things like that, I tend to look at them like production artwork. Like I'm a big Sid Mead fan and Ralph McQuarrie and stuff like that. And I like how you could just build a whole world just based on singular images, and help flesh it out, even if it's like, oh, it doesn't happen exactly like that, but it gives you an idea of where it might be going or the possibilities, things like that. So, that one pinup you just showed on the screen was by a buddy cartoonist, Raphael Christopher Cornford out of Indiana. He does a really great comic. It's called Thrilling Suspense Fantasy. It's huge. It's like 100 pages, and it's like an old, like pulp, like those old pulp magazines that had like the shadow in them, and stuff like Conan the Barbarian, things like that. Except for his comic has comics in it, has prose in it, and he's a brilliant artist.
Oh, yeah, I love this piece. Kind of like you said, you're into manga, and you kind of wanted to maybe do like a manga style issue, and like that's just like a good grounding setup place for that, because like he really nailed that.
That was a homage of an image from Street Fighter. It's like the originals, Cammy and Chun-Li.
Okay.
And then he plugged my characters into it, which I thought was brilliant. Yeah, it turned out really awesome. I love his line work.
So, I mean, your art style, do you just color digital, or are you a digital artist, or do you do pencil and pen and then scan it and color it digitally? How is that your artwork?
Yeah, it's all penciled and inked with a brush. I ink really big, or the whole image is really big. Each page is 19 by 24, so I guess that's like 2 up or whatever, however they refer to it.
What's up with you Power Pulp guys, man? Working so large all the time.
It looks great. It looks great when it shrinks down, but then I'm able to get those really nice curves.
Yeah.
And I struggle with drawing tiny people. So like even in the backgrounds and stuff, when I need people, like I hate that. Like it's really hard. It's something I'm working on. But and yeah, I ink on vellum. So I went to school for commercial art back in the late 90s or mid to late 90s. And I think part of that just stuck with me. So like my process isn't like what most people do, but I pencil on bristle board. I have giant rolls of vellum. I roll it out. I cut it. I mount the vellum to the board because I pencil pretty heavy, and I don't like inking over heavy pencils.
Sometimes the inks don't absorb well, right? Into
it. You gotta, and then you gotta erase it so either the ink fades or you erase the pencils first. And this way, it kind of preserves the pencils. And then I have these great inks, and I really love inking on vellum. It's really smooth. I think it takes the ink well. Like whenever people see it, they're like, "Wow, it looks like it's still wet." You know, that's the comments I get.
Yeah, drafting is. I had to take a few drafting classes in college, and I'm very familiar with vellum. Yeah. So do you use those technical pens when you ink, or what do you use for inking? You said a brush, just a brush.
Yeah, I use a Pentel Fude brush.
Okay, got you.
Although I'm weird, like I'll take the ink out of it and use it as a dip brush because I'm kind of heavy-handed, and otherwise when I'm inking, I'll squeeze it too hard, and then like the ink will like squirt out of it. Watch. Okay. So I know I did an inking video on my Instagram one time. And I showed myself dipping, and they're like, "You're using that as a dip brush?" And I'm like, "It just works good for me that way." And the one I had, this is a newer one, but I had one that lasted like almost 20 years. Like those things last forever.
Yeah.
But I do use microns for like some of the smaller details.
Okay.
And, if there's dots or I don't know, just little things, I might go back in with a micron to tighten it up.
Yeah.
And then I scan it, and I have a big scanner. It's 11 by 17, but because my page is so huge, I still have to do it in like 4 or 5 pieces. Photoshop has a really great automate stitching feature now. Like mostly used for, I think the idea was for panoramic photos, but it works awesome for line artwork. Where in the old days before they had that, I'd had to go to like manually go in and shift it, and everything was always a little off. Like I still look at some old issues, and there will be like something that's just like a little off. I zoom in far enough, but I mean nobody notices.
Yeah. I think that's just from the scan, right? Because the scan isn't a perfect copy. So from one scan to the next, it might warp the image just slightly, and you don't notice it till, like you said, you start trying to
piece together. And the first 2 pieces might go together great, and then the more pieces you add, the more it's just like this weird puzzle that isn't fitting. And you'll lose your mind. And I'd have to go in sometimes and individually scan smaller pieces just to plug them in. And then you're like collaging my own artwork. Like what's going on? But I do it at a high resolution. I do everything at like 600 DPI, and I color it in Photoshop the original size. So like the files are huge, but I always had my idea, like, if I get rich someday or something, to do a novelty version that's like the original art size, but in color. This big 19 by 24 comic, like it's like I'm Willy Wonka or something. That'd be fun. But that's the process. It's funny because sometimes people do think that I draw it all digital too, or ink it digital. I think that's a huge compliment because they're like, "Wow, your stuff's so clean." I think that's why I tried to include the backup stuff in black and white, but that stuff is drawn a little bit smaller. That stuff I usually do on 11 by 14 because I'm just trying to get it done sometimes.
Well, that's crazy that you do. What was it? 19 by
24.
By 24. Wow. Yeah. So when you go to conventions, do you bring any original art? Or do you keep it all?
I want to start, and some of the covers and pinups are done at a smaller size. So like I'm going to get 11 by 17 portfolio and start bringing some of that stuff. Because I went to Heroes Con this year, and I saw how people really want to buy original art.
Yeah.
And I had a few Posca marker paintings I did of like Marvel character heads like a year ago. And I had those out there, but I think they want to see sequential art pages, and So yeah, I'm gonna start trying to bring some stuff, and maybe like if I do a local show or something within reason, if I'm driving to a show, I'll start bringing the actual bigger pages because I think that'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah, they would be very impressive, man. Someone gets there and they're like, "Holy, like that's a poster."
Yeah,
Your pages are posters, man. That's crazy. Yeah.
No, it'd look cool, like all framed up. Plus, like it is like you have the inks on top of the pencils, so like you could take those out theoretically and have them next to each other.
Yeah, you have both, like, because pencil just has a different energy to it.
Yeah,
like, I love a penciled page. Like,
I pencil super tight. I get comments all the time when I post stuff, and they're just like, why do you even ink your stuff? They're like, you could just scan the pencils and color those. And I'm like, I've done it a couple of times for some pieces. I don't think it's worth, like, the amount of cleanup involved is such a pain in the ass. And that I also get compliments on the ink. So it's like, I enjoy inking. I do really feel, even though I pencil so tight, I do feel that the inks are the actual drawing, it's, and it does sometimes it gains something, sometimes it loses something. Cause there is something really organic about the pencils,
But like you said, each step has a pro and a con, right? And like sometimes, like you say, you just bang out like the perfect ink page and you're like, wow, like that's just phenomenal. And then other times the pencils look like they just have a different, and you're like, it doesn't have that same capture, that same energy when you go in with the ink. So you're like you said, sometimes you may feel like you lose a little something, like you said, but I mean it works both ways too, right? So,
it's even with, like, people, even other artists always say, even with the thumbnails, like sometimes it's hard to match that energy, that initial burst of, like, and I get that too. I'm like, and I know some people blow them up and will, like, trace those lightly to get it and things. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes the inks, like, I'm like, oh wow, this really brought it out. I really know. And sometimes I completely beef it, and I'm like, oh fuck, this face is ruined. I have to re-ink it or something. It's like, oh, the pencils nailed it,
but like you're saying about those thumbnails, sometimes because it's quicker, right? So it's more like gesture drawings,
right?
And you get that perfect gesture where it's like, wow, this look like, and like you say, you're trying, but because you're just going faster, and it's just like a spur, like just a one shot type thing, and to try to recreate it sometimes is so hard. And you look at that thumb.
Each step kind of stiffens along the way. Like, I have people saying, they're like, they'll see my thumbnails, and even some of those can be loose, but sometimes they can be pretty tight too. And they're like, you like draw this thing like 4 times. They're like, you need to just skip some steps. I'm like, no, I get that, but I need everything dialed in. Otherwise I feel like it falls apart on me. Like I'm losing something. Like I understand what they mean though. Like it probably is still sound, but for me, that's where I'm at. So it takes me about a week to pencil a page, which I know is a really long time, all things considered. But that's also with a day job. If I didn't have that sit around, maybe like 2-3 days. But and then it takes a couple days to ink. Sometimes I could do it in one day, usually 2. And then coloring goes by really fast. And I love coloring. And sometimes I make the joke that I'm just really making an elaborate coloring book for myself, because that's the part I enjoy the most. And that's where it really like just starts like coming to life and popping, but it's over in a blink of an eye. So yeah, all things told, like the first issue, well, really the first issue I did over a very long period of time. I was posting it to a blogspot site back in the day. I wasn't drawing any traffic to it. I had no real publishing plans. I was just kind of like doing it as a thing because I enjoyed doing it. And then I sat on it for a while. And then a bunch of different things happened in my life where I finally convinced myself to get out of my way and say, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I think that was it, because I knew that once you start it, I can't stop it. I have to finish at least the Dreamsicle story, which is going to be about 7 issues, which is like, it's a huge chunk of my life. But I didn't really have much of a life anyway at that point, besides the day job. So I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And so I had that done. I go, okay, well, let's see how long it's going to take to do the second issue. I thumbnailed out the entire story, all the individual issues. And it took me about 10 months to do the second issue fully. The third issue came along in about 8 months. So I'm like getting a little bit quicker, but and then I did the 3.5 issue, the Fever Dream issue, which I'm not even sure how long that took. I think it was about 4 months or something. So it's about on target. The issue I'm doing now, issue 4, keeps growing. Right now, I'm in the middle of thumbnailing it, which is the writing stage. I have the cover done, the inside covers, back covers, pinups. I have the backup done. That's 5 pages. So that's grown because previously they were only about 2 pages, maybe 3. And the main story looks to be about 31 pages. So all told, it's going to be about 44 pages altogether. So it's going to be way beefier than the previous issues, but it's a flashback that takes place before the first issue. It shows how Sven becomes a zombie. It shows how he meets Bianco the bear. It shows... It hopefully goes a long way towards getting you up to speed on this is everything that actually has happened up to this point. And then issues after that, 5, 6, and 7 all take place in the future, picking up after Fever Dream and issue 3. And they keep going farther and farther into the future, going into outer space and stuff. So
Sweet.
Yeah, it gets wild. Where the 4th issue is a lot more fantasy. There's a witch in it. There's a dragon in it. Sven becomes a zombie in it. I don't think that's really a spoiler, but it shows how it happened. It shows what's up with the castle and all that. So Rain's really not in it. She's in 1 page. We get to see her at working at Burger Berry at her job, and that's it. But it's mostly a Sven story, a Sven and Bianco story.
Okay, yeah, that's what it says at the end, right? Find out what really happened to Sven.
Yeah. And I gotta nail it because it's I feel so much of it depends on this, really. I know people just want to see the future stuff where they're just looking in they're in their cool costumes, fighting and stuff.
Yeah,
but I like the idea that so when I was doing the first issue, and it was in landscape format, when I first created the characters, it was the ones in the cool costumes, and I don't know why I started doing the story farther in the past where it was before all that. I guess I was thinking of it as some kind of an origin thing, oh, wouldn't that be neat how he found out how they get that way. And then when I sat down to thumbnail the whole story and all the issues, I thought, okay, well, I have to make a decision here, what format is this going to be in, because I have these landscape pages, but the future stuff I'm just not picturing that way. So I thought it would be a cool commentary, a kind of a meta thing on, okay, it's actually as they grow up, comic books grow up. So it goes from a comic strip to a comic book proper. And I just thought that'd be neat. So I get to indulge again in just all the stuff I want to do as far as comics, everything that inspires me, comics and cartoons. I get to play with different styles. Relatively speaking, it's all clearly me drawing it, but it starts off as more of an animation looking comic strip thing, and then it goes into more of a comic booky thing, and it gets a little bit darker as it moves along.
Sweet.
Yeah, I noticed the slight style shift, especially when you get to issue 3 where all the action takes place. Your coloring too, the style of the coloring, like you said, the beginning with when they're little kids, it's very, like you said, animation-ish, cartoony. And then as they grow up and they get into their costumes and the superhero, even the way you draw them is a little bit different, more with the elongated arm, like Johnny said, the longer arms, the coloring's a little more subtle. It's not as bright, as saturated as the earlier issues. So that was I noticed that shift as well. Now that you mention it,
in the early issues, I was, there's not really any black lines except for the outline of them. I'm coloring all the lines. It was very animation influenced. At the time, this is going back to the year 2000. I was working in an animation studio. I've never done any actual animation. I just did character designs, coloring, things like that, supplemental material. But it was all influenced a lot by that period. As it's going along, it's definitely shifting, and I've kind of built in I don't know what I want to call it, a safety in the story for me. So the way I'm presenting it, where it's always doing the dreamsicle story, I'm able to break it up into chapters where it has the one panel is like dreamsicle. Then in the earlier stuff, it's a little bit more prevalent, but that gave me a chance to, okay, I'm going to do 3 pages when it just starts off. The first chapter is 3 pages, then it goes to like 5 pages, then like 7 pages or something. But I figured there was gaps of like years at times in between those chapters where I wasn't working on it. So I figured, oh, okay, when I do it, it's consistent within that chapter, at least art-wise, because I know I'm always going to grow, I'm always going to change. Mm-hmm. So it plays into the story, but it also helps me in a way too to be like, okay, there's a consistency within each like bit of it, but you still get that growth, but it's not happening like mid-issue or something, you know, or mid-story pages.
One thing I really love, like, is the design of Vanity. When she's older, when the paraplegics, like the arms, and you made sure that you left the gap so you see the stubs. Like, I love that. And with like the mechanical claws, like, oh, I thought that design was fantastic. I love that character design. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and again, it's like each character, there's like multiple versions of them, even after you see them in their costumes. And then there's her with the monster arms, and there's the later one. I think it's in one of the pinups you showed. It was the centerfold where like her hair is more of a ghostly, like white blondish color, and you know, even the dress she's wearing goes from blue to white. Yeah,
I like the monster arms too. I was like, oh, the monster arms are cool, but I get that the bear is trying to save her from the rot. Like, and that's why.
Yeah, you gotta chop it off, but the curse never goes away, really. So that's the problem with it. So it was well intentioned, but she's living with that forever. So it's either like, you got the mechanical arms, or you're gonna, not to give anything away, but you're gonna be stuck with the monster arms. And then I got ideas for something else that's gonna happen later on in the future. So she's not done. There's a big I don't want to like overstate influences sometimes. Some of them you wear right on your sleeves, and some of them are a little bit more subtle. But there's a big, like, in my opinion, Akira influence. There probably is on almost every comic book artist who makes comics these days. Peter Chung's Aeon Flux is a big influence. You could see it in Rain's costume. I've literally had people come up at shows and think that that's what it was. They're like, "Oh, this is Aeon Flux." I'm like, "No, I am not that guy. I wish I was that good." But I'm like, there is a big influence on it. Same thing with, it's like a cross between like Aeon Flux and the Rocketeer, I guess.
A little bit of Judge Dredd with her helmet.
Yeah, right. And she's a cop too.
For Rain,
yeah. Although she's not a great cop. But
she's not really great at anything. She's a bad friend. I guess surfing was like the only thing she kind of had it for.
Yeah. Life was tough, and that was the main part too. Was I just wanted to show how, I guess, and this is a big maybe comment on my own life. Sometimes you just grow apart from friends. It's not because of anything. Sometimes, like, they have to get a job and the other person doesn't, or their parents are moving across town and you're just never going to see them again. Maybe they have more ambition and you don't. You just want to surf all day, and they're building robots and, getting government contracts or something. So that was the whole, like, there isn't necessarily any one reason why they're enemies in a weird way, even though they could blame certain things, and it's their own interpretations of what happened in their lives. In some ways, that is like there is a lot of Ghost World in it too, the way Enid and Rebecca like grow apart, and it's sad, but it's just that's part of life. And now you take that, and then you take in like all the other things I love, like, I don't know, Italian giallos and Italian zombie movies, and Robert Crumb comics, and just like all kinds of things. So it's a weird stew of just like all kinds of things that I love. I don't play a lot of video games anymore, but at least initially there was a lot of visual influence from video games in it. Even with, Vanity having the Pac-Man t-shirt, Power Pellets, eating her nipples.
Well, she's always got like, older Vanity's always got like a little something that like has a little nipple on her, or like she's got the little dress, and then
with the flowers on it. So it's thematic, where it's like carrying that same idea across, right? Like, So yeah, I just have fun with all that stuff. Yeah, I recently reached out. To me, I keep saying this is a if or a when, not an if. But I'd like to make vinyl like art toys of them, and I'd like to do Rain first. I know it's a huge investment in money. I'll probably try kickstarting it when I do the initial collection. So far, I've funded everything myself. I don't know if I have a big enough fan base to do a Kickstarter.
You do. We'll make sure you do.
Thanks. No, I appreciate that. But I wanted to get farther along with the issues. I think before I do that, maybe after issue 4, maybe the last 3 issues, I'll try doing it. But definitely the collected edition, because again, I got a lot of highfalutin ideas about what I want to do. Because it's in 2 different formats, I got to collect it in 2 different books. So it'll be basically the past issues 1, 2, and 4, and then issues 3, 5, 6, and 7, and then Fever Dream. And then there's probably going to be one more 0.5 issue before the last issue. And then I figure I'll put them in a slipcase so it goes together. So, I'll do an exclusive print and stickers and all this stuff. But I already reached out to a Chinese factory about making toys, and I got quotes. That was pre-tariff madness. And I realized this is about 5-ish years away anyway. So, things are going to go up, but I'll fund it myself if I have to. It'll just be super limited, but I think it would just be super cool to see the characters like that. Rain's a little bit easier, so I'll do that first. But of course, everybody would want to have Vanity as a toy. And I ideally, like you said, I'd like to have them in both versions. The monster arms, the robot.
You know what you could do is do one version.
Yeah, and have it swappable.
Yeah, swappable arms. Yeah. And then you wouldn't have to do 2 full figured. You just have to do one version with like a lot of toys, like the Mezcos or whatever. You have like 4 different versions of the heads that you just pop off and on.
Yeah.
So that might be something where you could cut cost back.
Yeah. No, it's like the Mondo toys too.
Overall, yeah, that's it. And it might be a little more expensive per purchase for the individual, but for you, for production, it might like streamline the costs.
Yeah, I did designs for a Rain character, and I did that with her where it's like I'm like I'd like to have the helmet, but I'd also like to have it without the helmet. So I did with a swappable head. Yeah. And I figured she'd come with the bunny rabbit, so you get that. So
the little pet.
Like I'd like to do I'd like to do vinyl toys of the animal characters and all that. Like it, of course Sven, with his cock hanging out and
make it with a little butt like in the back action, like like those action toys where it just goes up and down,
knocking all the other characters over. So there's a lot of ideas. It's just money and time, and then it becomes okay. I got to focus on the comic. Get the comic out first. I only have 3.5 issues out. Like what am I doing here? Like let's do this and then start trying to do the other stuff. But all that would be super awesome to do. Like I'd love to do it all.
You semi-answered my next question. I was going to say, like, I never seen this around Kickstarter or in the crowdfunding space. So you did self-publish all of these issues on your own.
Yeah, the initial print run for the first 3 issues was only 200 copies. I already went to a second print for the first issue, but I only upped it to 250. I need to do fresh printings of 2 and 3. I'm getting really low on those, and I'm going to try to. I keep saying I'm going to up them to like 400 copies or even 5, but then when I crunch the numbers, I'm like, oh man, this is so expensive.
Yeah.
I know it's that catch of like the more you print, the cheaper per cost, but it's also like a bigger upfront cost too. But I think to my benefit, especially now doing teaming with Power Pulp, they're moving copies. I'm just starting to sell more. When I did Fever Dream, I did 300 copies. And I said that's going to be a limited edition. I'm never going to reprint it except for in the collected edition. But I kind of wish I hadn't said that. I guess I could take it back and just do a second.
You can. You just be like, the demand's way too.
It's too cool.
People really want it, and that's one I wanted to, because this is
it's kind of like a trailer for the first 3 issues. You know what I mean? It kind of gets you to jump into it.
Yeah, it recaps the previous issues, and it's a trailer for what's coming up in a way. And it's just like, it's kind of just more of an art book too than a comics. There's no dialogue.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a silent comic, which is really
cool.
I saw a few little minor things in it where there's dialogue in the background, like where the hordes are saying like whatever. I'll let the people read it, and that's the only time I think there's dialogue in it.
And then the initial blurb, like the Stanley Presents type blurb in the first page. That started as it's a mini comic, but it's in magazine size. And at first I was going to do it as a mini, smaller, and I was going to do it on newsprint. But then once I started doing it, I'm like, no, this needs to be presented as kind of nice as I could make it. So it just kept getting bigger.
What you could do to get away with reprinting it is change a new cover or something.
Yeah, for sure.
So then it's not the same. It's a second printing, but it's a different cover. So you didn't. The original first print run was never reproduced.
Yeah, and the first one is special for whoever bought the first 300.
Right, and in every first printing, I number them. I hand number them, and I hand sign every copy, which fucking takes forever. Like, I have a new respect for people that are like sitting around signing shit all day. And then when I did the second print of the first issue, I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'll sign them, but I'm not numbering them, because I just want to. I want to keep them all in print until I do the collected edition, and this could get really out of control, even with it only being 7 issues. It's like, that's just a lot of comics to store and have around.
Also, I think, like you said, you've got 3 issues. You're building your readership. I think when you first start out like that and you're building your readership, to say you're only going to do the 1 print run, when you're trying to build your readership, I think you should, like, if there's people interested that haven't read it, it's I mean, I get the cachet of like, oh, it's never gonna be printed, but I think once you get your readers, like, pretty much where you've reached where your readership's gonna be, then you can start doing that's when you can start doing this is one time only. But as you're building it up, because a lot of people probably, you're like, oh man, I missed out, as you're getting to a point where where you've reached a lot of readers and stuff. And I think from that point on, then it's probably safer to be like, oh, this is a 1 print run type thing, because then most of the people that are like fans of your work, they'll be getting it anyway, right? They won't miss out. So
and I could and there'll probably be a bigger print run too, so it's just like it's more worth the squeeze or whatever. I mean, I think you guys are just convinced me. I think a great idea would probably just be, I love that cover, but like, I could color it a different way. And I kind of started, I was doing it almost the inverse, where it was the background was blue, but she was red. So I could do like, that version.
Just switch it up. So then it technically, you're, people are like, oh, I thought you said this. Well, technically, I didn't go back on my word,
I don't think anybody's gonna even say that too. It's like,
I don't think they would either.
Crowds my head. It's like, nobody's paying attention, like that.
I think at this point, people would just be happy for you that there's enough interest that it warrants another printing, like.
Definitely.
I was thrilled I was able to reprint the second issue. Like, I mean, it took, I don't know, probably think about 2 years or something. But I'm going through the other issues a little bit quicker. Those are like more about like a year and a half. I still have about half the print run, I think, of Fever Dream. So like, it's slowly ticking up momentum. These things take time. The question all of us indie guys always talk about when we're at conventions or whatever is like, how do you make people aren't interested? Well, some people are interested. Most people though aren't interested in like things they don't know. So like at a convention, unless it's an all indie convention, they're just going to walk right past you. You're like white noise to them. Like, so it's like, how do you make it known that it even exists, that you even exist, and that it's, I don't know, something that isn't what they think it is, because I get that based on the covers or whatever, there might be certain things where right away people are just like, oh, I'm just not into that. It looks like some sci-fi chick comic or something, like a generic one.
That's why we do what we do, because like growing up as like a indie comic fan, and I liked all the fringe weird shit my friends read, like big two stuff, and I always be like, why don't you read this? It's written by the same guy, but like it's his true vision. It's not some editorial mandated crap. I'm like, well, I don't know what it looks like, and I don't know what it's about. So I took that mind frame from my normie friends, and I was just like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do with my YouTube career. I'm going to show you what the book looks like, and I'm going to tell you what it's about. And then if you don't check it out, it's your ignorance. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of try to tell me, they're like, oh, there was no way I could figure out how this book looked. Like, no, I put it out there, and other people kind of do too. So, and
I appreciate it.
Life.
Like when I was a kid, you know, I grew up reading comics, I don't know, around the age 9, 10, somewhere around there is when I really started getting into them. And that was pretty firmly already in, like, you know, the black and white boom of the 80s. It was like the late 80s, I guess, around that point, 87, 88, somewhere around there. And so I'd go to the store, and like I loved X-Men comics. Like I still do. I mean, I don't get new ones, but like, you know, for nostalgia, the old stuff is great. But also, like, I was picking up whatever random black and white stuff looked cool. Like there was always a cool appeal. Like I said, there was like I don't want to overstate the word taboo, but there was like kind of like, ooh, yeah, like what's this? Like you're discovering, so you have a secret that, you know, everybody else doesn't know about, you know, and it's like, oh, this is the cool stuff. And then you know, the 90s came and things got crazy. But you know, at a young age, I was reading things like Faust and Cry for Dawn. I really love David Max Kabuki. Like that's a big influence on me. Yeah, his stuff's great. And then I discovered in college, like the indie art comics. So stuff like Dan Klaus's 8-Ball and Chris Ware's Acme Novelty Library. Dave Cooper's Weasel is a massive influence on me, especially with like the different format. I mean, same thing with Acme Novelty Library. Those were the ones where I saw like, oh, they're doing everything. Like this is one guy doing like everything. Like he's like down to the paper stocks and stuff, but how the sizes of different issues were unique. And all that stuff just really, really blew my mind. And then eventually I came back around to genre comics and mainstream stuff. And I realized like, oh, you could like everything. Right. And in a way, my comic is, I'm still coasting off the inspiration of those indie comics, stuff like Charles Burns's Black Hole, and things, but it is with like genre trappings and stuff around it. Yeah, and I really can't overstate how much Robert Crumb is an influence on me.
Big question, and since you keep bringing up format, I wanted to ask, because you're the first guy that we've had on that's actually done a landscape comic. Like, would you find it to be cost prohibitive compared to printing a normal shape comic, or is it kind of around the same price to kind of like get something in a different format?
No, you're gonna pay a little bit more because it's like a custom thing. I don't think it's like terribly more. I guess it depends where you're printing it. I get all my stuff printed at Comics Wellspring. I really like their work, but there was a bump in the road because recently they moved their facility and they changed all their printing options to streamline their service and make it easier for them. So they got rid of their custom size option, and they're just like, we're locked into these sizes. And I'm like, oh shit. I sent them an email saying like, I don't want to go to somebody else. Like can you guys like grandfather me in somehow? I'll pay even more if I have to. And they were nice enough to say like, no, we don't want to lose you. We'll keep, since you've already submitted stuff, like your template's kind of already in the system. Because even though I'm doing landscape versus portrait, like the size doesn't change. So it's still a wonky size. It's like 7.5 by 9 inches. And then when I change directions, it's 9.5 by 7 inches or 9 by 7.5 inches. Mm-hmm. So like, I hope I'm good. I hope they will keep working with me on that. Cause like I told them, I'm like, this is a long project. I'm going to be doing this for years. I told them how I want to keep the issues in print and everything. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to throw a few $1,000s each year at you guys. And theoretically it'll keep increasing over time. So, but yeah, there was, you know, and initially I want to do it 9 by 12. I want to do it like magazine size, even with the landscape. But because of the printing restrictions, like when you like think of a signature, when it's folded open, that means it's like 24 inches long or something. And they said their printer couldn't handle that. So I actually squished it down then to like what the biggest extent that they were able to handle, which is I guess 18 inches or 19 inches.
Yes, keep making big issues, man. To tell you the truth, I need stuff to go alongside my James Harvey Masterplasty issue. You know what I mean? Over there by itself, just huge and ridiculous shaped.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna try. I think the next iteration of like whatever happens after the Dream Skull story will be, I'll probably try to do that magazine size format because it's so appealing to me just to present stuff bigger. Plus, I'm drawing so big. I get to cram all this stuff in. Sometimes I do feel like things might be getting lost when I shrink it down too far.
Oh, man, I love the magazine format. Like that and the graphic novel format are like two things that I'm really pissed never got taken off in American comics. You know?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the European graphic albums, like, you know, and then they're hardcover too, and it's just like this thin hardcover. It's so awesome. It's like, yeah, why isn't that a thing? Like, especially now that single issues are more or less kind of falling out of fashion, you know, and they're so expensive anyway. It's like, yeah,
almost as much as you're charging for your big crazy comics now. Like I think Boom's selling their comics for $7. Like that's like kind of the normal price for an issue nowadays. So yeah,
I always have a lot of guilt about like even charging $10 for an issue, and I know that's the going, you know, rate for most indie comics, but like you look at DC and Marvel and they're like $5.99 and they got ads in them and they're backed by major corporations too, and it's like, what the hell? Like I've had my mom says, she's like, you could charge somebody $20 for this. I go, I can. They won't buy it, but I'm like, I understand what she means is like, it's nice. It's a nice product.
Yeah.
It has value. It's on nice stock compared to like whatever Batman comic is out, you know, this week or whatever. But
do you make an okay profit with the price that you have and what you put into it? Do you turn around okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends, I guess, like a lot of things. So I don't mind talking actual numbers. So it costs about between $3 and $3.50 to print each issue. I charge 10. I bag and you sometimes board each one. If you're buying it from me online, I'm throwing in stickers. I'm throwing in art cards, like cardstock, like flyer cards and stuff. I'm putting them in a nice like bag that I put like a gold seal sticker on and everything. Okay. Like it's like this really nice presentation. Even like the mailer envelopes that I put them in are like those stiff like cardboard ones. Like I even put like a fancy like little like do not. It's like a cute little. I didn't draw it. I found it on Amazon, but it's a cute little like please do not bend sticker with a circus elephant on it. Okay. Like I keep thinking like, what would I like if I got something in the mail, you know, if I ordered something? Because sometimes I'll order comics from a self-publisher and I won't like throw anybody under the bus or anything. And I get it. It is a cost thing. And it's an expensive hobby. And it'll just be like a single issue in no bag in a bubble mailer. And it's like, yeah, that's viable, I guess. But I'd rather... I don't know. I like to zhuzh it up. It's literally called FutureLux. It has luxury in the title. So like I want to do like, it's kind of like in my brain, a chic kind of underground comic. I'm a graphic designer for my day job. I work for Raw Rolling Paper. And I deal with just designing stuff and looking at paper stocks and things all the time. And I don't know, like all that's under my skin. Like I said, when you got like something like Acme Novelty Library, those single issues, some of those just feel so unique and feel so awesome and feel so, I won't say expensive, but like, yeah, there's a real value to them. And that's how I want people to feel when they look at my comics outside of the artwork and everything else, but just the actual build quality and presentation of the whole package.
I think you sell yourself a little short though, man, to tell you the truth. I mean, I love like the lower price point, but like honestly, like on Kickstarter, the books that do the best.
Oh, I know.
They want like $35 for a single issue, you know?
Yeah, I know. There's a guy I like, again, I won't say any names, but like I passed on it because it was so expensive. And I was like, again, not saying it wasn't worth it, but I was just like, Jesus Christ. And,
I think you're talking about the same guy. Johnny did the same thing.
And yeah, good for him for being able to move that. He also has a pretty big following, so there's that.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, I don't want to say the name, but I actually ran into him and he gave me a free copy. So
yeah.
I know, and I was
anyway,
like,
thanks. When we're off air, we could talk about
it.
But I mean, like $20 is like going rate for like a regular 22 issues. So like you have like a crazy format. It's about 10 pages longer than like a normal, like it's 35 pages or something each issue.
They change. Like the first issue is pretty short. I think it was only 22. Then they went up. The second issue was 28. Third issue is 22. So yeah, they're around between 20, like 20, 28. But yeah, the next issue is going to be 44 probably, unless I either add pages or take some out. I already realize I'm gonna have to, and I advertise it as $10, but like again, nobody's paying attention to that stuff.
Plus, everything's going to be more expensive, and
right. I'm going to charge $12 for it, which is still probably pretty cheap. And even for shipping, when people order stuff online, I do a flat $5 shipping no matter how much you buy, and shipping's gone up sometimes. So I'm usually eating a little bit of cost on that, unless they're buying it from like California or Texas. It's like within the same zone, and then it's like under $5. So I get like 30 cents or something.
Yeah.
But a lot of if somebody's buying from the East Coast, it costs between like $7 and $9 sometimes to ship stuff, and I'm only charging $5. But I get it. It's like, you're buying a single issue, and then I'm going to charge somebody for $10. I'm going to charge them $17 for shipping, and it's like it's a lot of money. And I've done it. I've bought other people's stuff for that, but I know there's other stuff where I probably held back too because it just gets expensive.
It does.
Depends on how awesome it looks. Yeah.
I mean, there's those people that like I can't help it. Like, there's those certain people you're like, I'm getting everything they do. But then there's other stuff where it's like, oh, this is really rad. But I also have like just never ending to read pile like right next to me.
Yeah.
So
and it's like to eat up like, all my money that I have this month, to buy comics. You know what I mean? And that's going to eat up half of it. That's kind of the situation I'm in most of the time.
But then it's also, you're like, maybe I'll run into them at a convention. I could just pick it up in person and save that $10, $17 in shipping and still get the book,
You tried that, but like it didn't work at this last convention when you tried to get the those one books.
Mm-hmm.
They were still uber expensive even in person.
What convention?
Montreal.
Oh, okay. Oh man, I'd love to do that.
Yeah. I was surprised at the price. I was like, holy shit. Anyway,
I get it though. Like, I mean, it's if they can move it, more power to them.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, whatever. There's always digital. I don't mind reading digital. So
yeah, I'm not completely against it. Now Power Pulp, we have our stuff up digital. On my own site, I don't. But like, I've had people from overseas reach out and say like, "Hey, do you have digital?" And I'll just say, "Yeah, sure. Throw me a couple bucks." Like, 'cause it's whatever. And then but I've also had people from Australia like physically buy comics, and they'll pay like $30 for shipping. I've had somebody from Hong Kong buy it. It was like $36 just for shipping, and I'm like, my God. And they're like, well, I can't get it over here, so
otherwise.
But I'm flattered. I'm like, that's great. Like, but it's a weird thing because then like, it's just the way the system's set up. Because I've had somebody in Hawaii buy it, and it was literally like under $5 to ship it to them because it's within the USPS system, and it's right there. So
But I agree with your mom. I think that you could probably get away with asking 15.
Thanks. Yeah, my art director says the same thing too. But it's funny. We were talking about because he's like in a lot of ways my number one fan. I've tried, we were talking about original artwork, and I've never been good at selling that either. Like, it just seems like I said, I did those Marvel Posca headshots, and they've just sat there like collecting dust. And I even lowered the price on them, which I feel like, oh, is that lowering the value? But like, people will stop and look at it and say, oh, that's cool. And then they keep going. I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah. Commissions are one thing, but I think original art from like an actual book, people are digging that. And a lot of people, what they're doing now is because the price has gotten insane on original art, right?
Oh, I know. It's
an established artist and good for them. Like, I mean, they work hard,
like, and thousands of dollars. Like, it's crazy.
So what a lot of people are doing are trying to find up and coming artists and getting them because their prices are still more reasonable when they first start, because they're building a name for themselves. And what a lot of people are doing and is getting in on the ground floor, because you could get a lot of cool stuff for a lot cheaper till they like hit big on, like, say, a Batman book or something like that.
Yeah. I'll never be on a Batman book.
Yeah. But I mean, we were talking to Phil Hester one time, and that's what he said. Like, when he sees a young artist that he thinks is going to be, you know, pretty good, he's like, I'll buy a few pages when they're first starting out, because he's like, they're so much cheaper than, let's say, once they start building a name and they start working on bigger books, then they get represented by, let's say, like a firm, like an art dealership type thing. Like, there's a lot of them now that represent comic artists, right, that sell original pages and covers for them, so that, like, an art rep, and then it just, you know, they have certain prices and they kind of manage that for them, and they're like, this is your, like, based on your popularity and stuff, this is how much you should be charging a page. And then, you know, it becomes an extremely, like, expensive hobby once, you know, those creators become a lot more well known, you know. So
no, that's a great point. Like I said, I'm gonna try bringing some of the stuff to shows, and we'll see how it goes. You know, and even within the pricing, I'm like, I have ideas of what I would price stuff at, but would it sell at that? Am I overpricing? You know, it's just, it's all those questions you ask yourself, and I don't know.
But I mean, next time you go to a con, and just go around and, like, when you talk to guys, like what are they selling their stuff at? And, you know, like you could always compare, like, your book yourself, you know, and, like, you could look, you're part of the Power Pulp collective now, you know, like, ask those guys what they're selling their pages for, the size. Sometimes it depends too. If it's just a headshot, a bust, a torso, if there's multiple people, is there a background? I mean, those are all different details that change the price of art, right? So
I think my stuff would definitely be, people would take notice of it, like I said, just because it's so big, and then it's on vellum, so there's, like, and then the pencils too and stuff. So there's I don't know, I think honestly it'd be a great deal, like, or an interesting thing for people if they wanted it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was funny, this is just getting way off topic, but because I know I had mentioned at one point, like, nobody knows who I am, and that's mostly true. I guess you could say that about Jim Lee, like, outside of comics, nobody knows who he is. But I actually started, when I was much younger, I'm 47 now, but when I was I don't know how old I was, like 19, 20, somewhere. It was around 2000, 2001. I did some work for Eros Comics. Okay. They had, like, some anthologies, so, like, I did some stuff in like Blowjob Comics and in Rear Entry. It's really terrible artwork, though, and at the time I didn't feel like I made the most of the opportunity, and I had just gotten, like, a real career job. I was doing, like, technical illustrations and stuff. Like, it was the complete opposite of comics, and I just convinced myself, like, I don't think I could do comics. So, and it was also around that time I had, through a friend, I met Jim Mahfood, and I did some coloring for him, like, for some flyers, and I colored his first website. So, but again, I never really, like, I don't know, like, fostered that relationship and just stuck with it. So it was like there was a big gulf of like 20, 25 years where, like, I didn't really do much, and I was just slowly kind of picking away at the first issue in the background. I did some illustration work in Hustler around that time too, in High Society. So it was a weird thing, like, but I just felt like, I don't know, I needed a steady paycheck. I needed healthcare benefits, because if I live in the US, so, like, you're like a slave to a day job because you need healthcare. It is a weird thing, but now, like, I'm like, I wish I would have done this sooner. But it's also funny because there's, like, this whole thing with, like, a lot of middle-aged guys that are independent self-publishers starting to make comics because they're just like, this is what I want to do, and nothing's gonna stop me, type thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a couple of our buddies the way they are.
I want to get back to the FutureLux, because before off air, Johnny was talking about what he thought the overall book was, and he's like, I don't know if I want to say it on air because of spoilers.
Say it.
But I think we're pretty deep in now, so we could do spoilers on. Now it's spoiler time, so we could go into, like, great detail.
I'll do everything but tell you. Like, the actual end. which I don't think is really a surprise when you get to the end, but hopefully it will be. I don't know. But yeah, I wrote that a long time ago.
Yeah. So we'll let Johnny go. Johnny, you want to give your spiel on what you think?
Yeah, I kind of think that it's I mean, I'm gonna get dark here. I just want to let people know, but I think it's kind of a sad story about like a young girl who had a rich friend who kind of was shit to her. Like even like when they were little kids, the inciting incident with the bugs in her eyes. You know what I mean? Like, which I think is actually a representation of kind of the same event that happens later. But basically, she meets Sven, this old man that like was interested in her berries. Wait, that's the wrong picture. And he takes her back to his quote unquote castle and gets at her. And then kind of later on in life, Vanity wins the science fair. Rain's not there because she's too busy being selfish and surfing. And she kind of gets brought back to quote unquote the castle with the bear and Sven. And that's kind of like the representation of her being turned into a monster the way that Rain sees her, because Rain ends up coming to the castle the second time and she sees what's going on, and like much like the first time, she just goes home. She just dips, doesn't try to help Vanity or anything. And basically that's the quote unquote mutation monstrification of her friend Divinity or Vanity that happens. And kind of the whole futuristic thing is kind of Vanity's imagined revenge on like the friend that didn't ever do anything, always kind of just was there, put her name on the top of the project and got all the credit for it. But when things got real, she just went home. You know what I mean? So like there's a bit of pent up old friend rage about that. Am I anywhere close to what you had?
Oh no, you're like 100% on. Like that's one of the best interpretations and readings that I've ever heard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's and then as it goes farther on into the future, you'll see how at once, they're in this storybook-esque lush forest with like these pixel berries. And again, I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but so Vandy builds this robot who collects berries, and when the fifth issue picks up in the future, it starts with Rain in the hospital in a coma, like coming out of a coma after the fight in the end of the third issue. And there's a TV playing in the room, and it's basically saying how like all the world's forests have been like picked apart basically by this robot and these other robots, and there's like an ecological disaster happening. And you don't see his face, but her chief comes in to tell her like, oh, you pulled through, all the city almost burned down. We're lucky, we saved you, which again could be interpreted as like, did she die in this? Is it just a dream at this point too? But I'll say it's all really actually happening, but that's a valid interpretation, I think. And he's like, this person better than anybody. We want you back on the force. He gives her badge. He gives her gun. And he's like, we want to put you back out there. And then she turns to the chair next to her, and it's the bunny rabbit with the 3 eyes giggling. And she's like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing here? And then the next scene is her in a car with her suitcase, and she's getting out of town. She's like, fuck this, I'm going to Mexico. Like, I don't need this. I can't do this again. I'm out of there. And then the robots all attack her. And then I won't say anything else after that. But
see, building off Johnny, kind of the same thing is, and I interpret Sven like when he's the monster, and when he touches her, he gives her the rot or the curse, like you say. Yeah. And because of the depictions that are there, I thought that was like interpreted or like as in sexual assault. Yes. And that's what turned her, right? That's what the rot is. It changed her, and her friend couldn't handle that, and kind of something happened where because of that event they lost touch, and it kind of created a divide between them, like either because she couldn't face it or didn't know how to help or handle it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I interpreted the whole, like when he's
that's it. It's him spoiling their innocence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what the rot or the curse, and it affects her like through physically. It's interpreted physically, you know, through her arms and everything. Yeah.
And in that fifth issue, she'll return back to the farm, and you'll see how like all the trees are all dead, like the storybook-esque imagery. It's all gone at that point.
Yeah.
So, and then the world just keeps crumbling, and then again, not to give away the end, but in the seventh issue, you'll see how like the world's coming to an end, like the whole. It's like a complete dystopia at that point. There's in the third issue, I have an ad like showing like the cover for the fourth issue where it shows like the buildings like kind of crumbling and stuff. So that's. And
I interpreted like the castle like Epstein Island, where it's like a party and taking advantage of young girls and stuff like that. Rich people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny. Are you guys familiar with Beyond the Valley of the Dolls?
I've only seen the first one. I didn't see Beyond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Russ Meyer, Roger Ebert movie. That's heavily influenced like the whole party thing. Sven is very much, there's the main character in that is called like Z-Man, and he's this like androgynous weirdo, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's hypersexualized, all this stuff going on. So there's a lot of that in it too. But then almost with like this, like again, children's book kind of facade over him.
But then the bear,
so she's blind, and again, going back to the first issue, I'm like, what's like, okay, so first 3 pages shows them as kids. Yeah, she gets dirt in her eyes, and then there's that meeting on the bridge, and it's like, I'm like, what would be like the most terrifying thing for like a young blind girl in the woods? This fucking naked zombie guy suddenly showing up, and it's just like, it's like off-putting. And then, you're showing his cock and everything, and it's like, it's exactly what you think it is. There's that joke of, Frankenstein monster or creature of the Black Lagoon, like carrying the woman in their arms and trying to take her back to his lair. And it's like, what's that all about? It's like, you know what that's about. Like,
yeah.
What do you think it's about? They're not going to show it, but it's like so heavily like implied that it's like, So there's a lot of that too.
And then as you were talking earlier, it kind of like the bear. I was like, man, like I wasn't sure. Is he good? Is he bad? He seems like he's helping them, but it's a little ambiguous. So you're not sure.
He tells Rain not to go to the castle, but he doesn't seem to want to help Vanity at all.
Right. So he's trying. Again, he's been corrupted because he's basically just like a ghost or a presence in that sense. In some ways, it's a playoff on like the bear dog character that's seen in The Shining in that one shot where he's like going down on that dude, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, and I don't know if you guys ever read the book The Shining, but that's more of a prominent character in the book where he's trying to help Danny. And it's like, it's a guy in a dog costume from like one of the parties or something. So again, it's like, when I say all this stuff, it sounds like, boy, like, is any of this original, or did you just take parts from everything else? But that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. And in the second issue, when Rain's surfing and she meets up with like the surf bros or whatever, there's a line where they say, he's like, you still go into the castle and like hanging with those imaginary characters, something to that effect.
Yeah.
So like even there, it's like, are those people real? Like even these guys are aware that like, are they just playing a giant game of like, it's kind of like the Mad Tea Party or Alice in Wonderland? Is this just like you playing with your dolls and having an imaginary tea party? So it's trying to blur the lines with all that. And I never want to come out and say it for sure what's what, because I want to, like you said, there's people who I think do stuff like this and it's a little too on the nose and it takes maybe some of the fun away. I'll also readily admit that like it also might be me lucking out on not being as great of a writer as I think I am and these things just happily falling into place.
No, but like you said, because they're coming out like issues, so people would have to wait. Like I was able to read all 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So it was easier to put the pieces together, whereas opposed, let's say like you said, it takes you a good 8 to 10 months to do an issue. So someone who read the first one and got it right away has to wait 10 months. So they read the second one, they're like, whoa, wait a second. I'm going to go back and read, like, so I was able to read like all 3 plus the Fever Dream book in a row. So it was easier to make those connections as one bigger story, like connected right away, one right after the others. So, so I think
there's a lot of little callbacks that I do that aren't apparent at first. And I like to think each little thing where you might initially go, what the hell is that? There's payoff for almost all of it later on. And if anything, it'll keep paying off the farther you go into the future.
But I mean, I think that like with the subject matter you're handling here and the way you're kind of obscuring it with absurdity, like I think that you're doing it very respectfully. I think that it is kind of like, it's not going to be for everybody, because like if they do read that, like it triggers them, that's fair enough. You know, like it's pretty rough subject matter.
But, for sure.
Like I said, like kind of like the Max though, you know what I mean? Like it tackles the same kind of like that was kind of more easier to read out of it, but like it still took a while. You had to read like the whole first arc to really understand.
Those first initial issues, you're like, what is going on? Like it, and you know, and it's funny, as a kid or a teenager at that point when I was reading that stuff, it's like everybody bought in on it just for the artwork because it's so rad, you know. Sam Keith's great. But it was so different from all the other Image stuff, and it still stands apart as like probably like the best thing out of all of that initial stuff.
The first initial round.
Well, because it was
out of Image, you know, before they started bringing in like Alan Moore and Warren Ellis and guys like that to like really like, you know, class up the place. But like as an actual cartoonist and doing something original with an original voice, he was probably the only one. You know, obviously Eric Larson's really great, but he's just like, it was still stuff we'd seen before. You know, it wasn't like there wasn't like anything deeper or challenging to it. Where the Max, it was like, I don't even think he was trying to necessarily do like an adult comic, but it works that way, you know. And it's I mean, you can never really go back or redo anything, but to think if he would have done it now, maybe with less restrictions, I wonder how it would have been. Because now with Image, you know, they're able to do pretty much whatever they want. In a way that he was probably playing it safer back then, you know. And you know, he got McFarlane toys and MTV cartoons out of it, so it's like it all worked.
And I mean, like I was surprised how well they did the cartoon. They didn't cut any, I thought they only cut out the Pit crossover issue.
And the Savage Dragon too. It's like a cop, right? Like or something. I think they couldn't get him. But that it's funny because like that and the HBO Spawn cartoon are so well done. Like I think like the HBO Spawn cartoon's like the only good iteration of Spawn that's come out. It's like it somehow distilled it like perfectly and like cut off like all the bullshit. But
well, the Max, like it was able to be like, hey, dude, it injected something super real into it. It grabbed you by the shoulders and said, hey man, this is how victims of sexual violence feel, and this is how the daughters of people that perpetrate sexual violence feel after like their world falls apart. And it's just powerful stuff. And like I haven't seen anybody really tackle it as well as you did, as well as he did and Tell You. I actually like just backed a Kickstarter, which like supposedly was supposed to tell the whole story, but it just kind of came off as like a very racist rape fantasy. And like I'm really grossed out. Like I kind of want to tell the guy, can I just get my money back now? But like,
that's rough. They had good intentions and all that, I guess. Or if it's just like a fantasy, sexualized fantasy thing. There's luckily like there's none of that. Like, cause it's weird. Cause I've had people, some people have just been really turned off by it. You know, like obviously they're not into indie comics or into underground comics. Not saying that if you're into that stuff, you're automatically going to like my stuff, but I think they just have different expectations of what comics should be. And I don't know. I always say most people don't look at art, like except for artists. And then there's a few other like connoisseurs that are really into stuff and really, but for the most part, I think most people, they let their art and entertainment come to them. They don't seek it out, and they don't challenge themselves to see like, what else is out there. And I want to get maybe made a little uncomfortable. Right. So yeah, I've had some people just be like, "This is porn," which is hilarious to me because I'm like, it's a drawing, you know. It's like you're really like they're projecting their own stuff on it, but I'm like, it's not.
They said that like about your book.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they haven't. They haven't read very many comics. Then exactly.
Right. Yeah. I'm
to
like,
tell you the truth, I think what you're putting down like is kind of important for young men to read in this day and age with people like Andrew Tate and all the Rogan Sphere comedians talk about women and stuff. Like there's a lot of degradation towards women going on.
No, absolutely.
In spheres nowadays, and something like this needs to be seen. Like they need to understand that like this that type of activity, it ruins lives.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's funny because like I've had like I was raised by a single mom, and then my older sister is like 4 years older than me. So like I've always, I don't know, that's just how that's been my world, just being around women and not like a bunch of like weird toxic dudes and stuff. And well, some of my favorite things is when like a young woman comes up to in the show, you know, 'cause even most cons, even though there's more of a female presence these days that are into comics, it's still mostly like middle-aged dudes who buy my books who are into like underground comics. But every once in a while there will be like, so I tabled at SPX, and that's a totally different crowd, and there is more like younger women there, and they would some of them would get really excited about my book, and that just made me so happy because I was like, this is for you. Like, and I know it's hard to come out and say that because at the same way there is a strong 90s bad girl influence like that's happening, like in the overall sheen of it, like with the character designs and stuff. But also I feel like, I don't know, it's meant to be empowering too. Like they deserve to have like these cool characters representing them, you know, and not just whatever. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's like they deserve cool shit too. Like, you know, even though the story takes place and goes in other directions, it's like it's not male fantasy stuff for sure, you know.
No, I mean, like it kind of like I said, it kind of plays with mental health. Like, I mean, I don't want to insult you because like a lot of people don't like this movie, but like sort of like you know, Sucker Punch, you know, like a female power fantasy.
Oh sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's kind of like how I felt like the futuristic fight scenes were kind of like in vein of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think like I'm probably drawing similar influences like than, you know, where that movie is coming from.
So yeah, man, like damn, like this is what I'd call an important book, you know what I mean? In
Thanks.
This age. And to tell you the truth, I could see you probably getting signed to like live the line. And
I would love to. Well, I don't know what's going on with them though, because like they lost distribution through Diamond, and he made a statement. I don't know if it was a public statement or where it came from, but I know Sean he made some kind of statement saying that like for the time being, I think he's kind of done until he figures out distribution.
Okay.
Our buddy's got a book coming out from them next month.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Like I mean, like because they can't stop. Like they're doing some of the best stuff out there right now.
Yeah.
I always try to picture like I really like self-publishing. I take a lot of pride in it. Of course, like it would help if somebody else like kind of gave it a push. You know, I always wonder like, oh, what other logos would I want on it, or what other company would I even work for? Because I do have a hard time picturing it with most places. And I've had so many people say like, oh, you need to send this to Fantagraphics or Drawn and Quarterly. I'm like, they don't want this. Like it's way too genre-y. And even I sent it to the Comics Journal hoping like, I don't know, maybe even just get a capsule review or something. Okay. But it was just crickets. Like I'm like, I think it's just not what they're looking for. Like, or maybe somebody else has to champion it first, and then maybe they'll take notice to it. But you know, like I'm good buddies with Matt Allison, who does Cankor. Like we go back before he started doing comics, and for the longest time he was trying to push me. Like he's like, you need to do your comic, but I was in my own way. And I think that's like one of the only similar type books is like thematically like that's being made that I could think of. Because it's like again, there's like genre trappings, but it's about something deeper. Like you said, something with mental health. The only other one I could think of is another Power Pulp creator, Corinne Halbert, who does Acid Nun.
Yeah. We've had her on.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And when I met her, I gave her my books. This is like at SPX a couple of years ago. I told her, I said, I go, you and Matt Allison are like the biggest influences on me right now as far as like what I'm trying to do. Her stuff is awesome. I love it so much. And yeah, she's published through Silver Sprocket. And again, I thought about like, I could maybe, I don't know. I've played with I haven't sent it to anybody with like the idea of like, hey, would you be willing to publish this? I think it would fit in there. But Living Line too. I'd also love Mansion Press to pick it up, but I think that's probably, maybe I'm being too idealistic right there.
But I mean, now you've joined the Power Pulp thing, so that'll probably give you a nice boost. Because we're talking last week, we're like, you're getting all these different creators together, and what happens is, someone who likes your work will go on the site and they'll scroll through and they'll be like, oh, what's this? And
it really jumps out of a batch of books that jump out. You know what I mean? But yours is like 3.
No, thanks. That means a lot. I try to hope that like, it has like the cover a lot of times is like what people are buying it for. I know the guts or something else. The cover is what represents it. So I really want it to have shelf appeal. Like I want, it's that thing of like, you want to be able to stand out from across the room type thing. Although I get to wonky format, and then even with the 3rd issue, it's playing with it even more because the cover's landscape, but the inside's portrait. The 4th issue is going to do the inverse, where it's the insides are landscape, but the cover's portrait. At 5, 6, and 7 will all be portrait. The covers, the insides, everything. But it's kind of like for a while there, it's like it's rocking back and forth in the story, or as it's figuring out like where it's going or what it's doing. I always wonder if people are going to pick up on that or if they're just going to be annoyed by it. But
some will, some. I think you'll have a little bit of both. A little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah, even with the second issue having a reverse wraparound cover, like people are always like, "Wait, does it read backwards like a manga?" And I'm like, no, it's the butt's on the front, but it's supposed to be read like a regular comic.
Yeah. But like you said, you're just making comics you want to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So you're trying things because you're interested or curious about trying something, which is great about self-published books.
Yeah,
you can do that. You can get away with it, right?
You've already seen all the other stuff. Like, why not at least try something else? Like, who's to say? Like, I get sometimes it might be coming off a little too avant-garde or something, but it's like, oh, what's wrong with avant-garde? Like Raw Comics, the old anthology is like as different as you could be. It's again, I'm not trying to say I'm like them, because again, it's like I think the genre trappings make it something else. And I think that's something that's relatively new outside of, I don't know, Max. I'm sure there's some other ones that I'm forgetting, but I think it's like there's this generation now like me we've grown up on, Marvel and DC, but then we experienced like, the indie comics of the late 90s and early 2000s and art comics. And it became a weird genre influence crossover of all that stuff. So it's just like a stew of all these different things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But the people that have come up to me at shows that like really, really dig it seem to like, they really like comics. Like, as an art form, and not just like, I don't know. Yeah, like I keep shitting on Batman, but I probably have more Batman comics than any other comic. But yeah, they're not just looking for something else. Like they get it. They get like they see the big the whole landscape.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, and then this is standing out because they're like, this is fresh, and that's so important to me. I always want it to seem like, whether you like it or not, that at least is coming off as something fresh. There's obviously a lot of influences, but I don't think that there's like one that just stands out like it's a pastiche of something else or a homage or whatever. Like I really hope that like it just feels like it's something new.
Well, that's creating, that's writing. Like my work that I always do, like I lean on music a lot. Like I'll listen to like a cool song and kind of get like a cool phrase out of it and be like, oh, okay, like let me try to figure out what that could mean in a story. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, music is such a massive influence too. Like, I I don't buy as many comics as I do anymore because I'm buying so much vinyl. Because like making I'm spending all my time making comics. I don't really have time to read as many comics as I would like. But like music, I could always play in the background. Plus, it inspires me. So yeah. I always say music's a bigger inspiration than probably anything else, you know.
But back to the publishing thing, like I kind of think that like you're really safe at Power Pulp, because Power Pulp is something that I think that it's going to be like replicated more in the future, because like man, these tariffs, they're happening. Like all the stores, they've already upped the prices just in case they do. So everything's already more expensive. There are going to be more and more indie labels going out of business, and we might even see some bigger ones go out of business. You know what I mean? Like the comic book crash of the 90s is going to happen again in big way. And I think that like having a collective of you guys that all support each other and all are all putting out your own books, you know what I mean, on your own money. Like I think that like, you know, just having a coalition where we sell it all in one place, but you each individually get the money for your books. Man, that's probably going to be the market of the future, kind of, in my opinion.
Yeah, and kind of like going back to the music thing, it's like that's what's happening there too, right? Like it's everybody. We're in a cool new golden age where people are just the distribution systems of old aren't really working anymore, and people are like, I could just do this myself. And while it doesn't mean that you're getting rich overnight or you have the machine behind you pushing you, I think it makes for more interesting work because you're doing it because you really love it. And you're not relying on like a contract or something.
Yeah.
And I think it was only a matter of time as far as like people just enough indie guys or self-publishers banding together because, you know, we see each other at shows. We're part of the same tribe. And it's like we're all always asking ourselves these same questions, like, how do I get it into shops? You know, previous to Power Pulp, I'd have it in about 5 shops. Ash Ave in Tempe like buys it, and then a few other ones are on consignment. So like Quimby's, Floating World, Partners and Sons.
Okay.
The only other shop that ever bought it outright was Gutter Pop in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
And that was after my last SPX. I think they saw somebody's post or something with like, you know, people do this is everything I picked up from the show.
Yeah.
Because they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we want to carry this. And they just bought it outright at wholesale price. And I was like, holy shit, that was massive, like, for me. And now whenever I put out a new issue, I call them up or, you know, send them a message saying like, hey, the new one's out. Do you want that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, do you want to re-up on any of the other ones? And they're like, yeah. And all the shops, even the ones on consignment, have re-upped on the older issues every time a newer one comes out. So
very cool.
It's moving, you know, it might only be 2 or 3 copies, like, but still, hey, that's something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how it starts, right?
Right. Yeah. You got to start somewhere. And I always meant to like call other shops and stuff, but that becomes a thing of like, okay, you got a day job. I'm just making excuses now, but you have to wear so many hats. It's like with social media and all that stuff. It's like, okay, I got to make the comic though too. Like, you know, I want to keep putting it out and doing shows and everything. And I fly maybe 2 times a year, like across the country to go to like a show, which is like, I don't make any money on that because by the time I pay for a plane ticket, get a hotel, get a rental car, all that jazz, the table, like I'm lucky if I get table back, forget about the other stuff. But at some point I realized like I have to invest in myself, and sitting at home on my hands isn't going to do anything. And just putting it on like a website or like Instagram with like a link to my web shop, that's not good enough. Like it's preaching to the choir, right? Like when I go out to shows, that's when people buy it, who they'll just be walking by and pick it up. They've never seen me before. They've never heard about it. And now suddenly they're following me. They're asking questions. They're like, okay, where am I going to be able to get the next issue when that comes out? Mm-hmm. You know, and I tell them I got it in a few stores. I got this website. Now I got Power Pulp too. So hopefully, you know, the stores are expanding where it's going to be. Yeah. So yeah, it's like slowly but surely.
We haven't spoken about your actual website. It's Future Luxury is on fire, right?
Future Luxury is Burning.
Is Burning.
Yeah, that's like the name of my fantasy studio, I guess you could call it. I don't know. Yeah. It's not a fantasy anymore, but that's I feel like, okay, yeah, the name of the book is FutureLux, short for Future Luxury, and then the name of my design studio is called Future Luxury is Burning. There was an old French Paris rave promoter back in the 90s called Paris is Burning, which was also like a takeoff on something else that I can't remember, but it was a similar like club thing. It was something is burning. And I just thought that was a really cool name. And then when I put my spin on it, like it just kind of fell into place. And I thought it like it explains it perfectly.
Yeah, so those are your sites, powerpulpcomics.com as well. So those are the places you can find your books if people want
to. Scott made it sound like you'd probably be better off buying them from him, because like he adds all the extra touches if you actually personally buy them from him.
Yeah, I'll personalize each issue. Like I draw a little blurb in there, and I'll throw in stickers and postcards and little prints and stuff. Like one of the things, probably when I send more issues of Fever Dream to the Power Pulp guys to replenish their quantities, it originally comes with like a mini print, a risograph mini print. But stores don't want stuff like bagged, so it's hard to keep track of all that. But I feel bad that like if an individual buys it, then they're not getting that. So that's why that was only $6. But like on my web shop, I sell it for 10, and it shows I sell it for 10. But you get a risograph print with it. That's like it's really fucking cool looking. Like, hold on. I don't know how much it'll show up on this, but
yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, just like that pic that I love.
That's rain falling in the water, right? And getting
get
all boiled off.
Yeah. This is called Green Cherry, and it's like the power of the berries just like melting her away.
Very cool, Rizzo. So this is the same style. This one here from the book.
Yeah. I thought about doing a Rizzo. I thought about doing a risograph print of that too. I still might, but
that's a beautiful one too.
Yeah, I really
risograph is amazing. Like,
it looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
I got it done out of a printer out of Glasgow. Like, I don't know why. I'm sure there's a place in the States that could do it, but their price was right, and I like the quality of it, so I'm just gonna stick with them. I it's weird because I've made some prints of things like the cover for issue 1, because people really love that, and I sell a color and a black and white version, and the black and white version is actually a little bit different because like I've toned some things and I changed a little bit of it, and they do okay. I don't sell tons of prints, but like when you sell a print, you make more money because like prints are so cheap to make. I don't print them myself. I have I have them professionally done and everything. But I'm kind of leery about doing too many prints of like stuff that's in the books or covers. Like I'd rather do like actual like fresh artwork for print. Yeah. So like there's a little bit more incentive to pick it up. So
especially if you do like a risograph, it's something different too. It's more artsy, it feels more special.
Yeah. I sell that separate at shows, and it does pretty well. Like, I sell it for like $5, and like, it's a real eye catcher too. Probably because it has like a titty hanging out, because like people stop by and they're always like, "Oh my god, this is great." It's funny because even on my banner, I did 2 banners, and I should have known better, but one of them was from the inside back cover to issue 1. Where it's like, I don't know, she's got the motorcycle like by her, and she's like kind of unzipping her outfit.
There's a little nip.
There's a little nip, and it's on the banner, and I've already, and like right away I had like show promoters say like, you can't show that. So I put a Power Pulp sticker over it. But I should have known better, but I'm just like, I like things that are lurid. I like things that are provocative. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's not like violent or anything, and it's not overt. It's not.
There is a problem with just prudishness in America.
Yeah,
now.
it's drives me fucking crazy, man. Like, I'm like, it's the year 2025, and like, we're really like this. It's like, they're like, well, we want this to be a family show, and I'm like, this is comics. It's a bunch of old dudes. Like, come on. And even still, kids are fine. Like, kids can handle this. Like, what are you trying to hide all the tits from in the world from them? Like, they're gonna be fine.
Most kids grow up with a tit in their face.
Right, exactly. Like,
you know, when you're a baby,
we should be celebrating it. It's wonderful, but
it's one of the first things you see as a baby.
Yeah.
Is a tit.
Yeah, it's not like I got like some guy punching like a naked woman in the face or something. Like,
but it's got
punching her in the
tit. Got a broken beer bottle and he's coming at her or something. Like, I don't know. But again, I should have known better because it's just like this is the world we're in, and you know, fucking America, and everybody's so puritanical and stuff. But I'm like,
it's gotten so much worse this past decade, man. Like,
it's like this is what we're getting upset about, like. Oh boy, we're in a bad spot, but again, I should have known better.
They're tearing up the whole internet because like a kid might accidentally see some nudity. It was like, nudity is a natural thing, man. Like if you make a big deal out of it, that's the thing that like makes kids nymphos. Weird shit is you fucking trying to make it this kind of secret, scary thing that actually drives them to it. Actually makes them kind of. You know, like, that's how
you know what?
Just making them.
Like, if you're not open and able to talk about it, and that's when things go unspoken about, and that's when people that get abused because these things are secret, you don't talk about them, and if that's the attitude you have, victims never come out and talk about it because they're taught not to talk about these things. Whereas if it's an open dialogue and it seems natural, people will talk about it and you'll be like, "Yo, dude, that's or." Whatever, like that's not right, you know. And if everyone has an open dialogue about it, all these things will get revealed more easily, and it won't be as taboo and like shock, like I mean, so a lot of these things go unsaid because you're taught not to talk about any of this stuff growing up, right?
Weird. Like I grew up like my mom was really cool. Like I was able to watch and look at whatever I wanted. I mean, she was always like, "Well, he's a smart kid. He doesn't get in trouble. So like he knows what he could handle type thing." And she was always very open about just like the world and sexuality for lack of a better term and just everything and stuff. And to her, none of it was a real big deal. And that's kind of how I see this stuff. It's like, we're talking about drawings, right? Like, like, do people ever go into like an art museum? Like, do you look at old art from like, the 16th century or really any century?
Roman statues with their
hanging out. You got people freaking out about that. Like cover up.
Don't bring it up, David. Pretty soon we're gonna go into museums. They're gonna be putting like black tape over all the
underwear on the Prince David statue.
They're gonna be carding you on the way in and stuff. And it's like, boy, our priorities are so fucking messed up. But I get it too. It's just like it goes back to comics being identified with kids. Same thing with animation, and to a lot of people, that's just it. Like, there's you can't say otherwise. Even at my day job for Raw Rolling Paper, like we deal with a lot of different. Like, I work for a place called HBI. We own a lot of different brands. Raw is like the most prominent, but some of those other brands, like, they have like characters or imagery that like we have to be careful of because they're like, oh, we can't have anything that looks like it's selling to kids, so it can't be too fun. And we're like, what? Adults don't want fun? Like, they're not allowed to have fun? Like, they don't want bright colors or cartoony characters? And so it's
that's another thing that really gets to me is this whole think about the children. It's like, why do I have to? I'm a 44-year-old man. I want to read something that I find interesting. Not everything needs to be made for them. They have so many networks that are fucking for kids. They have like PC. They have Marvel. Like, why do they need the indie comic space too? Why do they need to? Yeah, dude. Why do they need to be in punk rock? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care if a kid accidentally hears a song that drops the F-bomb 40 times. You know what I mean? That doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, parents should have paid attention to them better if that gets on their nerves. Because like you, my mom kind of really let me like not do whatever I wanted, but like I watched what they watched, and like they watched adult stuff. You know what I mean? Like they watched rated R movies. But
Johnny, The kids are our future, man.
The future is burning.
Yeah, I'm terrified for the future with all the little chuds running around the world right now, man.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. All these people are going to grow up with like Arrested Development. Like you're going to, okay, so you hold all this stuff back to what? Right when they turn 18 and then all of a sudden they get exposed to everything overnight and now they're smoking crack and
like what are those religious types where they have a year where they can go off and
right. It's like a bunch of Amish people,
their pilgrimage or whatever it's called when they are allowed that 1 year.
Romspringer. It's so like, oh my god. Yeah, and a lot of those people, once they experience that, they don't go back. They're like, fuck that. Why would I go back? They're like, I got cell phones and race cars and all this stuff and like,
gangbangs and
gangbangs and this is
only
great.
Fans.
I get to do anal. Like this is awesome. Like, fuck
what's it called? I don't have to put a blanket over me with a hole.
Or go soaking like them poor Mormon kids.
Yeah, jumping on the bed.
There's a whole beautiful world out there. Enjoy it. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. But so I always say like because I thought about that too. I'm like, do I put this is for adults only or something? I'm like, no, I don't want to be like that. I'm like, it's for smart kids. Like whatever age I think they can handle it. Obviously I wouldn't give it to like an 8-year-old, but like I would say a smart 12-year-old could handle it. Like ideally, definitely like 16 and up, probably like easy. But I know I was looking at wild stuff when I was like, 12-ish.
I think it's just the fact people have a hard time with penises. And I give your book, if I had to rate your book, just the fact there's a penis in it, it gets an extra 2 points,
Like, all the dingers, man. Yeah, and like when I was a kid, like I would ask my mom for the Vertigo books because I think there was boobs in them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember Mike Grell's like Longbow Hunters. That had like an adult like little thing on it. It was like a pre-Vertigo like title before it came out. And I remember the store kind of being like, I don't know. And then they're like flipping through it, and then like they let me have it, and I'm like, I love that book so much. It's so well done.
And then I had my friend Chris Silvera. His dad would buy us copies of Faust for us because
I had my mom. My mom would have to come to the store. Like I started reading it when I was like 12, 13, and she would come to the store and get Faust for me. And the guy would flip through it. He's like, "Are you sure this is like really?" And he's trying to show her what's inside. She goes, "I don't care. I don't want to look at it. This is for him, not for me," and stuff. They're like, "All right."
I mean, like issue 6, when like he fed the rapist his own dick, I was just like, "Yeah, that's awesome." You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. Like that's what I'm saying. It's weird. And also it's like, okay, so I always say when issues 14 and 15 came out, I was lucky enough to have a store that carried them near me. And they had them behind the counter. And I go, hey, at first I didn't even know they were out. I go, whoa, is that new Faust? And they're like, yeah. I go, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, let me get them. I got like a couple of copies of each one. And they're taking them out from behind the counter. I go, wait a second, can I ask you something? I go, Crossed is on the shelf next to Captain America. Why do you have Faust behind the counter? I go, like Faust, whatever you might think of it, and obviously it's adult, but I'm like, it's a little bit fancier, like it's a little bit classier than something like Crossed, which is just
especially if we're talking about like the psychopath arc, which is probably the most disgusting things, wonderful but disgusting things I've ever read from dear old David Lapham.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, but yeah, it's very like it's trying to push buttons in a way that like Faust isn't. And there's definitely like there's a finer art quality to Faust than there is to Crossed. And I'm not saying that to shit on Cross, but it was just kind of funny that I'm like, you got this stuff and it's not in a bag. You can just like open it up and look at it. But you got like Faust, and they got like a backboard covering most of the cover so that like you can't see it. It's like all you see is the logo, and I'm just like, wow. And as a kid, that's what would make me.
They're behind the counter in a brown bag. Like,
yeah.
I guess that's why they just remembered those times and like, I guess we got a brown bag this one. Never mind.
I think that's what it was. It was just like muscle memory or something. Like 20 years later, they're still doing it. And,
never mind that Faust has a bunch of zombies standing around a bowl jizzing on some bullets. You know what I mean? Like a splash page. Like,
Oh man, I know there's probably not time, but like I have a great story where I met. I got to hang out with David Quinn and Tim Vigil when I was like 19, and I went to a strip club with them.
That's cool.
It was like hanging out with like the band, you know, like in the best possible way. Like it's like going to see like, I don't know, Motley Crue or something, and then afterwards they're like, hey, want to go hang out with us? And you're like, yeah.
Hey, you know, that's maybe you're hanging out at the castle doing a party. with fucking with Mitchell and Quinn.
That's great.
I feel bad for those guys. They are still so blacklisted. When, like you pointed out, there have been so many worse comics than Faust that come out, and like I think the only thing Vigil ever got to do really was like he did some backup stuff for the Image Comic 68. Like that's the only kind of big name stuff he did. Like he did all the Silver Wolf stuff, and then he did the North Star comics, and then he did the Rebel Studios, which was like him and his like label. And then after that, like they just he made fun of Rob Liefeld in '93, so we can never fucking forgive him.
I love that pinup where he's like, he's black, killing all the Image guys. There's actually like a Green Arrow Lantern Corps or something, or a Green Lantern Corps annual that he did like the first 2 pages. He penciled them. I don't think he inked them, and he didn't color it, and they look terrible. And he even said he kind of phoned it in. I think it was like a favor for somebody. Also, like he knows Sam Keith, and on some of those Marvel Comic Presents issues, he did layouts. I don't think he's not credited, I don't think, in the credits, or maybe he is, but like, Sam talked about it one time, saying how he just needed help doing it, and he asked Tim if he could lend a hand. He's like, I guess. Like, he had no interest doing it. But I'm like, I always thought that was really cool because, the Rebel Studios anthology book, Raw Media Mag, like I think it's the first issue, has like a pinup by Sam Keith in it. Yeah. And I always thought that was really cool. I'm like, whoa, they know each other? Like, and I guess they were buddies or lived close or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like that whole Rebel Studio stuff, there was some really cool books that got put out that nobody really talks about. Like everybody knows Faust, but nobody talks about Joe Vigil's dog.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Jack comic they put out, or the Night Visions.
Yeah, I love Night Vision. Yeah, I loved all those comics. I know they mentioned, I think it was in a recent interview when they did the Faust omnibus, that they were looking into doing more collections of all that stuff. But I mean, who knows?
Then, like you said, in Raw Media Magazine, you had that futuristic Faust story about the guy that only had the one claw. And I'm like, man, I wanted to finish that. The only guys did 3 issues. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, I love that one. That was the one that had like the Joe Visual art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was like Faust. I think it was called like Faust 2020 or something, which is so funny now to think of because it's like 2025. But it was like that early, before the turn of the century, where like the 2000s still felt like the future. But I thought that was super cool. There was a lot of great stuff in that felt like it just kind of, I don't want to say died on the vine, but it felt like it had more juice in it. It's like, why don't you do more? Yeah, they did all that Avatar stuff, which was really weak in my opinion. They even said they kind of just did it for the money.
Yeah, I
got like it shows too. It was like, well,
I got the female Faust, I got the M book, and I have the hardcover for Faust crossover with 777 Rat the Man, which actually 777 Rat the Man is probably my favorite book.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my favorite one out of all of them. I was really disappointed in the She-Faust because the early stuff that they showed, like there was that
Raw Media, it was.
There's that ad on the back of like Faust 6 or something, the original North Star one, and it had that cool Mark Beecham painting. And I love Mark Beecham so much. And like they even said that like that was the publisher of North Star just did that without even talking to David or Tim, because they were just like, well, we got lightning in a bottle, we can put out more Faust stuff. And it just didn't go anywhere. So then when they did their version in Avatar, it just felt so watered down because it didn't, I don't think it had the same time invested in it, and the quality just wasn't there. But oh well.
I try to do Raw Media Magazine, and like the issues that I've seen for that from Avatar were pretty poor.
Oh they were terrible.
It was just like Mike Wolfer drawing his typical lesbian porn.
Yeah, it was just porn comics, like pretty much. It was really bad too. It was, and it was other artists where the original Raw Media Mag felt like so like kind of unique and cut like kind of bleeding edge.
Yeah,
It had like a really cool quality to it. And there's only like 4 issues, I think. Yeah. I don't know if you know Tim Tyler, who did a comic called Blood Rain way back when. He did a bunch
based on the video game.
No, it was he was a self-publisher. He inked a lot of the original Faust issues, like or contributed inks to him with Tim, and he did a lot of the Avatar stuff with him. But this was years ago. Again, I was like 13 or something, and anyway, he was at a show, and I traded him like Raw Media Mag 2 for like an original drawing. But yeah, he was a super cool guy.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's so funny that like they mostly got blacklisted for talking shit about Marvel.
It's weird. It was it's so unfortunate because like he should have
all stuff that like is commonly said by everybody now.
Right.
He got in trouble for like attacking Lee Field and like all the guys just taking quick doing their how Field does his books and stuff, and like I had no problem with him calling that out, and like I said, like 10 years later, it just was commonly said stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now comics, like adult comics, are a little bit more accepted. Like there is just like I said, like Image. It's almost all of them are kind of there's definitely an adult quality to it or a more mature thing. Everything's kind of become like Vertigo comics, what they used to be. And I feel like there's a niche that they filled that like for some reason isn't there anymore. And it seems like they should be welcome to do stuff. I don't know why they don't self-publish more stuff now. I mean, I get that it is like a big pain in the ass in some ways, but I feel like I don't know. I guess they know what's
I'm
worth.
Surprised they didn't capitalize on like just how popular the collected version was when they finally put that out. And then when they did the Kickstarter, and then when Black Mask said they were going to put it out. I don't think Black Mask ever ended up actually re-releasing it, but like there was just so much interest in it. Everybody was talking about, this lost comic that nobody ever heard of. Like everybody's heard of Faust, dude. Like,
everybody loves Faust. It's great.
I figured like him and David Quinn, they would have knocked something out. You know what I mean? To capitalize on that momentum they had, and like kind of just sat there.
It's
that, in my opinion.
I hate thinking of it like this, but there's definitely like a brand name like recognition to it. Like they could keep it going. I get that it was just like that one story, but I mean they kept it going in the Avatar comics. Why not keep it going in perpetuity? He showed like something really cool. I don't know if you guys saw it on his Instagram. He posted like a proposal of a Faust Crow crossover.
Yeah,
he did pages.
Yeah, those are amazing.
They look so fucking good, and James O'Barr just isn't interested at all. And it's like, well, you're not interested. You don't have to do anything, dude, but collect a check, like which probably isn't much for him, but still, it's like.
I mean, with some of them IDW Crow books, like fuck, those were terrible. Man.
Yeah, and like the Dark Horse ones and stuff, like they're so bad. So he's not above just like cashing in. I mean, look, there was a Faust or a Crow TV show that was garbage. Like there's so many, it's so much garbage stuff to it. But, who knows? I don't know. But there's I don't know. I would love to see him like at a show. I know they still do shows, but
yeah. What was that witch comic that like he was taking like 2 weeks to draw pages for? That like he only got like 2 issues out right before Rebel died.
Oh, is it Web Witch or something like that? Or
Web Witch was like one of his Avatar stuff.
Oh, you're talking about Gothic Knights.
Gothic Knights, yes. Exactly.
He's doing their actually I think it's over now, but they did a Kickstarter for a collected edition of that. There's like 60 more pages or something. So like I guess he was doing stuff. He did 60 more pages because it's going to be like 100 and I don't know how many. Like it's pretty thick. But there's a Kickstarter for that recently.
Yeah,
like
I saw that. Yeah, about 6 months ago, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and it funded. So
damn, I missed it. Like it's pretty interesting. And I hope he like into EO. Like I want to see how the giant tree trunk dick monster story ends. God damn it.
I think that one's definitely dead in the water because he says the guy, I can't remember his name, is it like Frank something or Hank something? He says he has no interest in like doing it. I don't want to say too much hearsay. I know it was like in actual interviews, but it was something like he got married and his his wife or his girlfriend just didn't want him doing it. Like he completely changed, like, oh, I don't want to make this kind of material or something. And it's like, yeah, man, I loved EO. That was like visually, like just the quality of that. They were amazing. Those 2 issues are so amazing. Like, again, huge influence on me.
Yeah.
Now that's an adult comic. Like, there's no way about it. Like, that's definitely not for kids. That's a hard one to like excuse, like, and be like, well, it's just comics. It's like, no,
like, just look at the girth of that thing. Like,
yeah, he's ripping this woman apart, like with his cock. It's just like, and guts are spilling out. Like, yeah, it's pretty rad stuff.
Yeah, Johnny, maybe go and find that. So,
oh yeah,
it's like, oh, you never. I was like, no, I've never seen.
I bought that new off the shelf. I remember like bugging the guys at the comic book store, like, when's the new one coming out? Do you know when the new one's coming? They're like, yeah, we don't know. This stuff just comes out. Like, I hadn't grasped yet that like some of these things just take years, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Oh well, I mean,
they're not making like $1 million off doing EO. Although I imagine they probably made some decent money because that was in an era where things were really selling.
Yeah, indie comics, like,
yeah,
you would sell thousands. Yeah,
maybe
copies,
even
not hundreds. Like, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, it's different times.
Yeah, now it's like I don't know. I look forward to the day, hopefully, when I could say I sold 1,000 comics. Like, you know, I'm still in the hundreds, but even that's still pretty. I still feel pretty good about that. I'm like, wow, there's a couple hundred people out there that wanted to see my stuff. So gave me their hard-earned money. I never take for granted like the people that come through and, you know, they're like, oh, tell me about this, or they're flipping through it and they're like, okay. They're like, well, I'll take all 4 issues. And I'm like, wow, you're giving me $40. Like, that's a good chunk of change, you know, and you don't know me. You don't know if you're going to like this, you know, once you sit down and read it. It's not even the whole story. You're really, you know, so.
Like you said, that's kind of the price you pay for indie comics. I mean, like, most of them, they start at 6, and then they go to about 12, you know what I mean? And like that, and that's just kind of what I've gotten used to paying for these things. I mean, except for through Kickstarter, there I'm like looking at least $15 to, I don't know, $25 is about probably my cutoff, depending on how cool the book looks.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because those guys are looking at it more like I must make money, or I'm trying to make more of a living off doing it, or something. I'm not sure what the thought process is in that. But
well, there's a lot of people that think that like they make a cool looking comic and they're going to get a TV show out of it.
Yeah. I have no desires for that. I mean, obviously this isn't TV show material, but you know,
I could see Adult Swim working with it. I mean, like they'd have
right. Well, yeah, so I was gonna say like an animated thing or something. That would be cool. I like to see a stage play. Like, I think that'd be neat. So it has that kind of scene by scene feel to it. Yeah. But and yeah, you got some poor guy with his dick out on stage. But even the scene where he's getting her arms chopped off would be pretty cool to see on a stage. But yeah, like Cartoon Network definitely. I've had people, like a lot of friends who know me have said that, because I have another friend who does work in animation and he has a similar cartoony kind of a style. And he's like, man, I feel like Cartoon Network just skipped over you guys, because like you guys were doing that stuff before that was like even a thing, really. And it's like, yeah, well, I don't know. Opportunity and time and place is everything. So just because I'm making something doesn't mean the right people are going to see it, want to make a show out of it. But yeah, I'd be down for that. I mean, a video game would be cool, anything. But I really like, I just want to make a cool comic, and I want people just to walk away saying like, wow, that's a really cool comic. Yeah, I just want to get noticed for like, oh boy, I want people to be excited. Like, you know, my favorite thing would be like if there was like a write-up or something somewhere eventually, or it became a thing where it's like, oh, a new issue of FutureLux is coming out. Like the same way, like, and I'm really not trying to compare, but like the same way, like when a new issue of Love and Rockets comes out, it's like an event. It's like, wow, like they put out another one. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like in the news, the comic news, whatever, you know, Robert Crumb's doing a new single issue of a comic. And they're like, wow, the first one in 23 years or something. And it's like, yeah, that's super cool.
Okay. They finally stopped bugging him about like his brother.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, he's his brother. Like, yeah, his brother's kind of a creep, whatever, but like, you just want him to like kick him out, like not your brother to him. Like, fuck off, people. Like, you don't. That's family shit. You can't fucking dictate.
Yeah, exactly. And then how, I don't know, it's weird how like Robert, I guess in some circles I hate even using the word canceled or whatever. You know, like some people just they look down on him, but then he's one of the few comic artists that the fine art world holds up in high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
He's really left his mark. He's on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, the Mount Rushmore of comic guys. He's created a whole wing.
Yeah, I mean, and he's kept his relevance. Like, like other guys that kind of came to prominence around at the same time, like Spain. Like, you never really hear about him and Trashman anymore.
Right. Yeah, but they all kind of fizzle. Yeah. Even like somebody like Robert Williams, who's pretty big, and again, in the fine art world, but it's not the same. It's not the same fine art world that like Robert Crumb's kind of held in. Where like Robert Williams is a little bit more low in the lowbrow world, and Robert Crumb is looked at as a little bit more important, I think. Like weirdly enough, Robert Crumb stands shoulder to shoulder with like Art Spiegelman. I don't know if I'd put Robert Williams next to Art Spiegelman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not fair. I love them. Like I love both of them, but I just think, as term of importance and quality of work and stuff.
And I always think it's incredible. He started off doing greeting cards.
Yeah.
How hokey his original art was to what like he ended up making with his comics,
Yeah, absolutely. Like it just shows, man. Like you just, I don't know, you just never know. I hope someday some people look back on me and be like, he used to work for a rolling paper company.
Yeah.
Now we're watching his cartoon on Cartoon Network or whatever.
Yeah.
You got the pedigree for it, man. Like, just stick with it. To tell you
thanks. There's the centerfold I did. I posted it to my Instagram for like that's going to be in the 4th issue, and I had another creator reach out to me, and he was just like, "God damn!" He's like, "How are animation studios not like banging down your door to make this?" And I'm like, "Well, they don't know I exist, and I don't have an agent or anything." Which I thought about getting one. Maybe I still will. Who knows? But I'm like, that's not the goal. I mean, let me finish the comic first, you know, and then worry about, I don't know, getting rich or getting annoyed or disappointed.
So I was gonna do a segue like a while ago when you're talking about conventions, but that ship has sailed a long time ago. But like I mean, con season's wrapping up, and you were saying you went to Heroes Con this year and stuff. Yeah. So do you have any other events coming up that people could go I got a bunch meet you at and grab your books in person?
Yeah, I got some smaller shows coming up. One in Tucson called Cactus. It's like a 1-day thing. Okay. It's in, I think it's like October 4th. And then October 11th, there's a small show put on by the guys here who do ASCAF. They team up with a hotel called the Foundry, which is a really cool hotel. It has like an art gallery in the lobby area next to the bar. And there's going to be a limited amount of tables there. I think only like 30 tables or something. I applied. I didn't get accepted yet, but I don't want to say I'm a shoe-in, but hopefully I'll get in.
Yeah. That sounds like a cool event.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. I don't know like how big the turnout will be, but it's like, I don't know. I got to try. I got to do something. There was a couple bigger shows recently that I was turned down for, which was kind of disappointing. Again, it's just like, there's a lot of people apply. They only got so much stuff. The promoters probably don't know who the hell I am or care. Like, hate saying it like that, but I don't know what all the reasons are, all the thought that goes into some of these things. But
a lot of the bigger shows, man, it's kind of more about like the actors than like the comics anymore. They should call them cons instead of Comic Cons, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess I meant bigger, like they were indie comic shows. Oh, okay. But yeah, like the bigger shows, it's weird. So I did Phoenix Fan Fusion here a couple months back, and that's like a bigger pop culture show. I didn't think I'd do good at all, but I did pretty good there. I tabled with my buddy Eric Mengel, who does Ocho, which is like a local Phoenix staple. He's been self-publishing his book for like 30 years.
Okay.
So that was cool. I had a really good time doing that. But then last year I did LA Comic Con, which is like the pop culture obnoxious con. I did terrible. Like I hardly sold anything. It was just all people in like Star Wars cosplay. It was really bad. And I got guested a table for it this year, but I actually just turned it down yesterday. I told the guy like, yeah, I'm not going to go, because it was so much money to like. I drove there because I'm in Phoenix, but the hotel was expensive. The parking at the hotel was expensive. It just so wasn't worth it, even though I had a good time hanging with other cartoonists, but I barely sold anything. Yeah. And it was like 3 days of not selling stuff, kind of like fucks with you. Like you're just like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, why am I even doing this? Why am I trying to sell comics? So sometimes those one day shows are a little bit better, because it's like, oh, people who just want cool comics. I'll probably do IC3 next year. I did it for the past 2 years. That's a really fun show. I say maybe because I'm waffling now, because like I would hate to go and not have issue 4 done in time, and it's looking really close. So it's like I'm just gonna feel like I don't know. I'm not gonna feel right if like a whole year's gone by. I'm not gonna have like a new issue out.
Okay. Yeah.
I never planned on doing Fever Dream. That was like kind of like so I contribute pages. There's a Canadian anthology called Spread Love Comics.
Yeah.
It's like an underground thing. They have old underground guys, like they'll have Dennis Kitchen and Peter Bagg doing stuff, and then they'll have like newer underground guys. And I was invited. I have an open invitation to always contribute to that. So I did a couple pages for them, and then a new one was coming up. And at first I was like, I always do Bianco Bear comics for that. Because it's just kind of like a whole nother avenue, I guess, for that type of stuff. And initially I was like, well, I want to do something different this time. And I started thinking of the Fever Dream story, but I go, oh, it might be a little too long. At first it was just going to be pages. And the guy's like, no, you could do it. And I go, all right, yeah, there you go. It's awesome. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. It's a great comic. And I always have contributor copies that not always, but sometimes I'll have contributor copies and I'll bring them to shows, and those sell before anything else because people are always excited to see it. But anyway, that the initial idea, Fever Dream, came out of contributing for that, because then it grew to 12 pages. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't ask that guy to put like a whole 12 pages in one of these issues for me. And I'm like, let me just make it its own thing. And then that ended up taking a little bit longer than I thought, because right now I think, oh, if I was 12 pages into the next issue, I'd be looking pretty good for, my time frame, that I set up for myself. So, but I'm glad I did it, because it turned out really well, and I think it's a cool little thing. So,
yeah, definitely. Like I said, like for people that are unsure about your book, I would push that towards it and be like, well, look at this, you know what I mean? Like, and see what you think. It's a good little trailer, good little way to get a read on what you're going to be checking out. And
yeah, when I show the issues off, like, when people come up at shows and they're like, oh, what's it about? And I start flipping through it. I kind of want to show them each issue so they could see, like, oh, some of them are landscape, some of them are portrait, one set in the past, one set in the future. And then I say, okay, and then I did Fever Dream. And I show that to them, and usually that's when their eyes kind of like get big. They're like, wow, this is really cool looking. And then I'm like, oh yeah, and it comes with a risograph print that I have in the back. So, and yeah, it's been selling really good. So like you said, I'll probably do a second print eventually.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Scott, man, we've had you on for I don't know, 2 hours and something minutes already. So we're gonna kind of wrap this up. Joe's kind of got a little bit of an interesting news flash before we go, though. We kind of got a thing that we're going to be doing that's kind of contextually part of what we're talking about here. Joe, what did you establish, man?
I've been talking to Matt. We're just working out the details where we're probably going to have a lot of the guys from Power Pulp on, like try to do a segment where it's focused on all the creators from Power Pulp. So we're probably going to do like I mocked up kind of an idea that I had. So I came up with like the Power Hour for all the Power Pulp creators.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
I mocked that up just to show Matt, and he could show the other guys kind of the idea we had. So it's either have a creator on from the collective for an interview, or not everyone likes doing interviews or coming on to shows and talking about their stuff. So we could do like a double feature where we pick 2 books from that's available through the Power Pulp collective and just do a special feature on like 2 different books from the collection that's available on the site, and help promote the books that are coming out for all the creators that are on that site.
Yeah. Next up, I want to read 20th Century Big Spider by Tony Farrow. That looks
wonderful. It's so good. Like all of Tony's books are awesome. Yeah. Like at Heroes, I table next to him, and so it was like 3 days of just hanging out and talking comics, and we traded each other's stuff. So like I got all this stuff, and it's so good. Yeah, he's amazing.
So I mean, we're working out the details to see if that's something, and all the rest of the guys at Power Pulp might be interested in either coming on and talking to us, or just like we feature some of their books here and just to help push it and maybe help move a few copies,
maybe. For sure.
Maybe make some scripted videos, because people kind of watch those a little more than our interviews. So like that, maybe that could help out too, because those always do numbers when I actually make
those.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're just kicking around some ideas for it. That's the initial idea for now.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks. I appreciate all the help I can get. Thanks for having me on. Like, it was really fun talking to you guys. Like, I had a great time, and I'm really glad, like, to see people excited about my book and talk about it. Like, that just means the world to me.
Yeah, when you blew me up on Instagram, and like, because yours was one of the books that really jumped out to me and Joe. So I was just like, hell yeah, we will get you on as soon as possible. Like, I don't think you expected me to actually schedule you something this week. Huh?
No, that's fine. Like, I'm happy to do it. Like, and watching that initial video where you guys were talking about it just made me laugh. So I'm just like, okay, these guys seem fun. Like, let's talk about this. Let's see what happens. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to, see what your thoughts were on the rest of the issues and everything too. So
it's awesome, man. It's definitely worth picking up. People should check it out. It's and what you said there, it's about 7 issues total.
The plan is 7 issues total with 2 little 0.5 issues sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
I'm even playing with the idea that I'll do like a full color, just Bianco solo book, one shot. I don't know if that'll come after, probably like after issue 7, before I start like whatever the next feature story would be. But we're talking that's like 5-ish years away or something. So
if people want to get your book, they can go to powerpulpcomics.com. Or go to your site, which is
futureluxuryisburning.square.site. I know it's a mouthful. There's a link in my bio on Instagram, which is at Scott Gerard Ruhl. So you can go there and find it.
So those are the 2 places you can find Scott's books. So go check it out. Go give indie creators a little support. And man, it's always appreciated by you guys, like you said. One reader at a time, and eventually you'll get there. And who knows? Like you said, maybe in the future we'll see FutureLux on Adult Swim.
Yeah,
man. We're gonna be
Broadway.
Yeah,
or on Broadway. Are you thinking about making it a musical, or do you just want it to be a play? Like I could see this being like a really
it'd be a fun musical. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm down for either. Like, call me. We'll set it up. Yeah. Whoever's listening, whatever producers are out there, DM me.
Yeah.
We're going to be back on Tuesday. We're going to be doing that Hot Flash episode where we're
Monday.
Yeah, that's Monday. Yeah, practice on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about Murder Podcast by Jeremy Hahn and the Look Into My Eyes from Mad Cave Books. Rubin, or how
Rubin, it's a one-name person, so I don't know.
Writes and draws it. It's a gorgeous book, man. It's a pretty cool. This is going to be techno horror double feature, so it's going to be a pretty fun, pretty short little episode. We're going to have Elle on with us, so we see you guys Monday.
Monday.
Take it easy, y'all.